Oh, wow. Rowdy Crowd
Okay,
Theory.
thank you. I was like, am I having a stroke? Or you're like, you're gaslighting me, dude. You're not saying anything. Crowdy Crowd, blah, blah. And I'm like, what?
Those are a couple hard words to say.
And you're repeating it. I'm like, did I hit the bong or did you? And the way you're looking at me dead in my eyes, like, what's wrong with this? You're looking at me like, what's this guy's fucking problem, dude?
Welcome back to the Bhavcast. Today I got Philadelphia comedian and the host of Zebra Cakes podcast. Please welcome my dog, Connor King.
What's up?
Woo!
Bafreaks. Bavik Nation. How you doing?
We're doing great. We're happy you're here, brother.
I feel so relaxed with these sunglasses on.
That's the whole goal of the Bhavcast. It's just to feel chill, open up to the Bhav and...
Yeah, I feel like the rapper Future right now. Like I feel just way too relaxed. I'm not comfortable with being this relaxed.
Why?
I feel like I need to be on edge to be funny. You know what I mean? You ever feel that?
Do you want me to hold a knife the whole time?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're brown, so I'm already a little scared. So that's that. No, but I feel like you ever feel like if you're too relaxed, you're not funny. Like you need to be like almost like dodging the snipers. You know?
Because if I'm too tense on stage and shit, it's like I'm a little scary. I feel like you can tell I'm on edge.
Yeah,
and people feel uncomfortable when
I know that when you're too like right, guys. Yeah, like
that's funny.
You took a nice coffee right before your set, and you're like, whoa, dude, whoa. Yeah, I've definitely been there. I feel like we have very similar stage energies.
Yeah.
Where it's like we want to be like right, guys, and it's like sometimes it's too much. Like, oh my god.
Sometimes I feel like you're almost like the white version of me. You know what I mean?
I think the same thing about you. But yeah, I know what you mean though. I feel like I remember because what was that? Comedy on the Crick when I first met you. This local showcase. Way back. I mean, 2021 maybe at this point. And I feel like I definitely remember us having like similar styles, know, especially like in Philly when everyone's like such a hey, I'm a fucking scumbag. And it's like, we're not acting like we're not, but we just present it in a different way.
Well, you know what it is, Connor, low key? It's because we're kind of cute, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes too cute. Like, this girl I'm talking to right now, she's like, all right, I think, like, she thinks I'm really cute, but she's like, you border on like getting too girly sometimes. So I'd ride that line.
We ride that fine line between being straight as fuck and gay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's also I think, and it's funny because like the whole reason I probably act a little more like flamboyant is ironically too like, that's my peacocking for women. Yeah. That's like my entire personality is like trying to like,
impress them.
Impress, even just entertain. Because like I grew up with like a single mom and older sister. So those are the people I try to make laugh at the dinner table.
Of course.
And I feel like that's what forms your personality.
Yeah.
Or at least your sense of humor. And like the people you're trying to make laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that like your audience like defines.
And it starts in the household. So
starts in the household.
That was your first audience.
I think it goes household, then neighborhood. But I think household comes first,
I feel that because I have an older sister, so I'm always trying to make her laugh,
Yeah.
So she doesn't like when you say things like, oh, these bitches.
Yeah. Unless you say it in a really silly way or you're talking about yourself. Yeah.
No, that's
this
the only way.
Bitch.
This bitch, exactly.
So I feel like maybe like acting a little goofy, probably we got like that reaction from the women around us. And like that's kind of like what we played into, which is ironical because, which is not a word, but it's ironical because I wanted to be silly, but I didn't want people to actually think I'm that stupid. Yeah. But it's ironic because that personality trait we use to attract women, or not even attract because we're talking about family, to entertain, ends up being the thing that makes people think we're gay.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very funny.
I had this guy on the Bhavcast. His name is Fat Juicy. He's a musician.
I hope so, because it could be another thing he is with that name. So could have went either way.
And he told me, he's like, Bob, you have feminine energy. And I was like, oh, like I'm not trans. And then he was all like, no, that just means like you're really welcoming and nice, you know. And sometimes for a dude, that's not the like a tough dude doesn't give off that energy up front.
Right.
You know?
Well, I feel like for me, I always knew that, when I've been in environments where I don't feel safe, I was never gonna out hard people.
Yeah.
So it's like I gotta be so disarming in my just like personality, where it's like you can't laugh and punch at the same time. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, I feel like again, what our environment's how it creates our personalities.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like that as well.
I was always trying not to get beat up. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's where we got our sense of humor. It's like we all just have different approaches. Some people's approach was like, I'm gonna outrage the angry people, but it's like I think I realized early on that wasn't an option for me. Yeah.
Also, I don't like conflict. It like makes me sick on the inside. Like hurting someone's feelings and shit like that, you know?
Oof. Yeah. Even when you know you're in the right and they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that. I'm trying to get better about, because if you don't, it's like a difference between conflict and confrontation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can confront things. It's important to confront things, because that's, I was like you, where it's like, and I am, and this is something I still have to actively work on, is that I'm so conflict averse that it makes it so I don't actually confront things that are bothering me with people, and if that stuff doesn't get dispersed, it just like it festers and turns into resentment. And I'm sure because we're both people pleasers, and I make a lot of assumptions because of our similar personalities. But I feel like because we're such people pleasers, we to our own detriment will kind of like put our feelings aside, because we're like, we don't want to, like you said, I would hate to make someone feel this kind of way, and so we like push our feelings to the side, and it's like that you got to pay the bill sometime.
Yeah,
like, it's gonna come out in some way.
And sometimes the worst thing is like, all right, so many of these people are like, you're sucking it up for them, and the person it comes out on is not the person that deserves it. You know?
Exactly.
You're like, fuck.
Exactly. You swallowed your pride for some random asshole at a Wawa just to like be a bitch to your girlfriend later and act like a brat. Yeah. That's me for sure.
Yeah. They understand eventually.
They understand, especially if you're. The thing is, my whole thing is like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to get to a place where I'm not triggered in ways like being annoyed and stuff like that. But I think just the fact that when you're able to communicate, like if like you're acting like you're like really annoyed, and then like a few minutes later, like, you know what, I didn't do this, I didn't have this need met, and I'm a little cranky. I feel like just having someone acknowledge it, because you're never gonna be with someone who has no flaws or
of course.
Like annoying character traits. But as long as someone's like aware and is able to communicate, I feel like that at least like you're taking ownership, you're taking responsibility, and you're showing a form of consciousness that gives promise to like, oh, maybe this can change. Which I don't want to. I think it's unhealthy to like, a lot of people do that when they get into a relationship. Like, oh, maybe this will change, maybe this will change. I think it's important to take people how they are, and if they do change, that's great. But you should not expect that, because real change comes from either crazy trauma or from a very conscious choice.
Yes. I agree. Like,
people don't just change like that.
Yeah, it's hard for them to change on a whim. But like right now,
or just because someone's telling them to.
Yeah, that's even like, that sometimes does the opposite. Like when I was little, my parents would be like, "Oh, don't drink." And then when I went to college, look at me now. I have a Modelo.
I mean, hello, come on. Look at me now, Mom. No, dude, I was the same way. I didn't go to college, but I had like a fucking box of Captain Crunch in one night the second I was on my own, because my mom didn't allow sugar cereal. That's the thing. It's like, it goes either way, either like when a parent is very controlling, it either makes someone who's scared to do anything wrong, or someone who's like a bat out of hell pendulum just wants to fucking rock the other way. And I was very much the other way, because I had, even though like, my dad was in the house, because my mom was raising 3 kids, she was very much helicopter. I think because she was like, so like, oh fuck, oh god. Yeah.
And you guys lived in Philly.
Yeah, exactly. So she was so like worried about us that it caused me to be like so under the when she was able to like be home, because she always also had to work and stuff. But it's like caused her to be very like paranoid, protective, and that anxiety, it stays in you.
Yeah, do you have like, okay, that's funny, because my mom, she's from like India, and she has that helicopter mentality.
Yeah, right? She's afraid you're gonna get snatched.
All the time we're like, just anything bad, or I'm gonna be bad to myself, whatever. Like, but do you now, like, you're almost turning 30 this summer,
July,
join the big 3-0 crew.
What's up?
Do you see any actions that your mom does that manifest in you? Like, for an example, I can't leave the house without checking the stove.
Oh my god!
But the problem is, Connor, Mr. King, I don't actually really cook.
Yeah, so nothing even touched. You're like, on the off chance my fucking swaying hip knocked us into light. I just have to check. I'm that way. And it's funny because you end up like going tenfold on the one X that your parent was on. Like, my mom was big into like, oh, wash your hands and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And now like you can't see, but like my hands are red because I overwashed my hands.
Yeah.
I wash my hands more than my mom does.
Do you use lotion?
Not as much as I should. I have this like moisturizer for my face that I then like apply to my. It's not enough. I gotta lotion more.
Yeah, come on.
White
bro.
guys who don't lotion enough. I know.
Yeah, come on. You got to lotion, moisturize.
I do. I do need to lotion more. But again, it's like you take that one thing, and because you're an impressionable child and you're filled with fear, and we already are like downloading our parents' anxiety, like we're their dogs, and you already have that, and then like now your parents grow up and they're not even anxious anymore about the things they made you anxious about.
Of course.
And it's like now it's on you to like work through it and be like conscious of it.
Isn't that crazy? Like it's almost like their generation was like the bull running, and now we're like have to like think about the whole thing,
Yeah, we're very reflective, and I think definitely the internet and like the information age has made this generation or generations or whatever a lot more conscious.
Oh yeah.
And like almost to like our own detriment sometimes.
It is, because there's so much information out there that you actually don't know what's right and wrong anymore.
Don't know what's right or wrong. You're getting all this information that's not even really relevant to you. You know what I mean? Like you used to only know something because it was right in front of you.
Yeah.
And now we're aware of things that are nowhere near us and we probably will never interact with. But now we feel bad and we're conscious of it.
Oh yeah.
Which it's like, I think, and things aren't just one thing. Things aren't one or just positive, just negative.
Yeah, it's not binary.
It's not binary. And I think, to be like, oh, and the evil technology, evil internet, the reason that always like argument ends up falling flat is because like we deal with so much of the positives of it. So it's like, it's about taking both sides, where it's like, yeah, there's it's really made us more like our brains are wired in a different way. Now, different, there's positives and negatives to that, but at the end of the day, it's like we are so conscious of ourselves and our place in, society and the world and everything, that I think it causes so much stagnation. And that's why, so many people just, and I'm the same way, where it's like, we're all at like a delay of like doing things because we're like on our phones or we're overthinking.
Phone time is how so much time wasted.
So much time. And even it just like an extra 10 minutes to go to before you go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Just like those little moments that like add up throughout the day. It's like 5 minutes of just checking before you go do whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But the self-conscious aspect of it all, it's tough because I don't want to make it seem like, oh yeah, the generations before, so they just didn't care. It's like I feel like if anything, they got to be more present.
Yeah, well, they were hustling too, and technology wasn't at where it was. So
yeah, you had to work harder.
Yeah, and they were and like you said, they were present. So like there wasn't anything
because there was nowhere to go.
Yeah,
like disassociating. There's nowhere to go.
You just thought about the people you saw. You didn't think about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, or even then when there were the icons and the stars, they were like something you would see in a magazine or in a movie. You're not just like constantly checking them in your pocket.
Did you ever watch wrestling growing up?
I had like a year or two. I was into it.
All right,
I think every kid has a face. Every boy at least has a face. Yeah.
And this was the craziest thing now. Like I used to love wrestling growing up, and my man Jeff Hardy is slowly dying in that ring. But respect.
Oh, he's still playing? I had him in SmackDown versus Raw 2008, dude. That's crazy.
My boy Jeff is crazy. But like
Jeff Hardy. Wait, weren't there brothers?
Yeah, Matt too.
The Hardy brothers. Yeah.
But what's wild about that is like when I was young, I thought that was like they're like professional stuntmen.
The Hardy Boys.
Yeah, the Hardy Boys.
Yeah. It was right there. The Hardy brothers.
Those guys are like professional stuntmen, so I knew like that was real. But like even the storylines, like Kane kind of scared me.
Oh my God.
And,
wait, wasn't that the Undertaker's brother?
Yeah, exactly.
And he killed the Undertaker.
So they kind of scared me, and then when I learned about like the storyline and all that, now it's like it's so like transparent. Yeah. I'm like, they got me. They really pulled one over on me. Yeah,
and it's crazy. That was like our reality TV. That was our Real Housewives because like we actually bought it. We actually like, no, this is real. This is all happening. But it's like it's such a great. I think what has made wrestling endure so much. Just appreciating it from like a theatrical standpoint, even though I don't really watch it, is that it's like where else do you get that like perfect? I mean, that blend of both fabrication and just pure like spectacle in reality,
because athleticism.
Athleticism, it's like, because that's why, like, it does feel so real, because there's so much, it's just real enough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like, sure, there are parts of it playing, but at the end of the day, it's like, that guy's still falling. You know what I mean? Like, there's still actual, they put blood into it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it'll never feel fully fake, because it's like there are fucking true emotions going into it.
Oh yeah, dude.
And even when people are like shit talking, it's like, you can feel when people actually hate each other.
Mean it, it's nicer. It feels better for us.
Yeah, because people feel. I mean, I don't know. Maybe unless people are, like, the other person's like a sociopath who's perfectly able to replicate a human emotion, you can really feel people's soul when they have genuine feelings. And I don't know if you feel the same, but with stand-up, when I'm at my worst is when I'm not being present.
Yeah.
And I'm disassociating, and I'm thinking about the next joke, or thinking about how that last joke didn't work, or I'm thinking about how much I'm not enjoying this, or how I'm bombing. And my best sets are when I'm here.
Yeah.
Like we said, presence, you know?
Also, it's like I feel like my best sets are also when I know my act, like the back of my hand. So I can roll punch to punch, and then when something is happening, I'm present for that. But the whole act is just on repeat, and it's just going.
You're not picturing the words in your head.
Yeah,
that's when you're going.
Out.
You're like reading a Google document behind your eyes. Like, I've been there. Those sets where you're like, especially that's when, like, new jokes and you're trying to, like, remember and like, no, this wording's so fucking. Meanwhile, the wording is just it's irrelevant. Like, just get the fucking point out. Yeah. That's me at open mics when I'm trying to, like, or like I'm working on new jokes and I'm trying to remember it.
But we all are, isn't that? That's the fun part about it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are the people who I think, and I don't even think some people are conscious of it, that are just true naturals and they're so present and they're not.
Yeah,
and they don't think about that. They're much more left brain.
But sometimes I feel like those people are like, sometimes like, there's a comedian, Kyle Regan. He's really great, and he does the greatest crowd work every time he goes up there. The crowd is always rolling.
Only crowd work.
Yeah. But I'm like, I'm always wondering, do you have an act? But, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I get that. Sometimes you have to do both.
Yeah. Well, it's like he's like working out his voice.
Oh yeah, that too.
So it's like at that point, it's like, when he wants to do material, it won't even matter what the fuck he's talking about, because his persona is so funny, and that he'll make anything funny.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been trying to do. Like, this last couple of months, I've been just trying to get, like, a little turn before I go on stage, and just I have the act in my head, but, like, just feel it. And, like, if someone's like, that one night at Brownies, there was that mean girl Amanda up front, so I just threw my whole act away, and I was just like, I gotta make you laugh. There's a whole mission is to make you laugh.
Play to you.
And then I made her laugh, and I went back to my act, and then my time was up.
That's
and I
funny.
Felt better.
Little short-term goals, right? Well, you know what I feel like? Alcohol helps us. It's a shortcut to this. You can get it without it, but it's like alcohol, whatever, weed helps. Is that it's like Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. It's that inhibitor chip that, like, it almost does the opposite. It's like you want to break that inhibition, so you're not like, boom, you're not conscious of it, and then you just freewheeling. You feel like, I'm just here and anything can happen. Now people died when you did that, and you want to kill, so
and some people will walk out.
And look, live by the claw, die by the claw, for sure. But it's like it helps you break that inhibition,
of course,
that makes you self-conscious. And, I feel like there's two ends of the spectrum with stand-up. There's the people who say funny things and the funny people who say things. So a guy like Kyle Regan is like a funny person saying things. What he's just saying things in a funny way. It'll make it funny. And then there's a person who's like, like Anthony Jeselnik goes the other
like
side.
Jimmy Carr or someone like that.
Where it's like they are saying funny things and like their deliveries are relevant. They're just delivering this information, and it's like, it's not binary. It's like those like goalposts, and I think I've started on the person saying funny things end of the spectrum, and my goal is to, like, become more into the middle and blend it. And I think that's what being present allows me to do. It allows me to just fully explore my like, just like, not just delivery, but my presence. It allows me to explore my presence,
see people and see their reactions.
And discover. It lets you discover,
and you can hone in better.
Yes, because if you're just like reciting, it's only going to go the way you planned it. But if you're like if you're playing and you're trying to discover, like, oh, maybe if I'm just really focused on this emotion, maybe I'll say things in a different way, or I'll say new things because I'm just like focused on how I feel and not about what I'm saying, you know? And like you're saying, once you know your material, you don't have to focus on what you're saying. Just you can focus on how.
And to whom you're saying it to. Like sometimes I try tricking like not tricking, like tricking like myself. Like usually if I say
no,
like,
it can be a trick sometimes.
Yeah, like deceiving.
Trick yourself into being confident. Now think about how it could all go wrong.
Yeah, but I just like if I say this joke to a girl, maybe tonight I'll try saying it to a dude and just see how that pace goes, you know? Like and just I've been trying to really to mix it all up. Just try to get a random data set.
Yeah. And I feel like definitely if like before my set I'm being more personable with people and I'm like talking more, that helps me transition into performing. Whereas if I'm like, you know, on the Uber ride over there not talking to the driver and not really talking to anyone at the show, then that like makes me close off. And some people, maybe that's the style they want to hone in on. But just for, I feel like what works for me is like when I'm already, you know, I'm very open with my aura and my light before the set, then it's like easier to just, you know, stay in that mode.
Of course.
Because it's like when I'm closed off and I'm like scared, like I can almost feel when I'm on my heels. You know what I mean? And then like we said, also when you're leaning too far in and you're like, so it's like how do you, it's like you just want to be 10 toes down, not on your heels, not on your toes, just flat, just balance, and then you can, you know, be fluid in every direction. Now you can go back and forth. But it's like when I'm too far back, I'm scared, and when I'm I'm scared when I'm back, and I'm scary when I'm forward. You know what I mean? Like, right, guys, right? And they're like, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's the fine balance with a high energy act. Because like, if you're too much, then you're terrifying. But if you're
and you can lean into that too. But it's like,
we're not like that's the thing. If we start becoming terrifying, they get scared because it's like, you know, they're like, oh, this cute guy just went sideways.
Yeah, it's not like we were like Robin Williams, and it's like we can build up this like kind of mania with our energy.
That's why I kind of growing the hair. I'm helping. It helps with my mania. I'm like,
it's like I'm already pretty kooky, right? I don't even have to say anything. You can tell. I'm a
brown man with a mullet.
What's he gonna say, dude? What's his opinions on stuff? Let's hear him out.
He's brown necking.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you know how you said that one thing about the inhibition part, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that's because I think we're such people pleasers. So that like that's what it really does. Like I don't give a fuck, and like, even though I do give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
But it's tricking yourself. Yeah, exactly. It's like you're not like so conscious of like, are they gonna like this? How are they gonna react? You're being.
You're trying to like
just be.
I'm trying to flirt more with the audience. You know, like
because I feel like that's probably when we've felt like the most charming is when we're talking to women and we're in that mindset. And it's like flirt is one thing, but it's like flirting is just what it is in that context. What it really is that like you're actually excited to talk to them and people can feel that. It's like when we feel like, you know, like, oh, I don't really want to be doing this, and like, and you're just going through the motions trying to get over with like that's when people feel like, all right, well, whatever. They're not even if they're not conscious of what it is, they're like, okay, I can feel someone doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like for us, it behooves us to be very, like, I don't want to be anywhere else. This is all I want to be doing.
Well,
and then,
in reality, like you're on tour right now, right? So like, it's like fucking when these people come to see your show, they're coming to see you, and like that should make you fucking wet. So it's like that's why you're like, you know what I mean?
But again, it's like if you, you know, get yourself to that place, because, you know, you could also turn it negative and be like, oh, fuck, you know, imposter syndrome, or it's like that same feeling can actually push you inwards. So it's like, I feel like, you know, I get, you know, it's how they say you can't control the ocean, you can steer the ship. It's like that wave of anxiety, you know, if wielded correctly, can turn into this excitement that becomes your fuel that like propels you forward. But if it's not, if that like energy that's coming in and you just internalize instead of externalize, then I just feel like it eats at me and I'm like just more like rigid, you know?
Do you feel that way sometimes when you're at these shows? Like, oh, I'm getting some imposter syndrome. Do you get that?
I don't know if I'm like fully like conscious of like turning into imposter syndrome, but I definitely get super nervous before every performance. And again, it's like, it's about like being okay with it and knowing that that's going to be my fuel that pushes me forward. It's all, I view it as like waiting for the roller coaster, right? It's like it's all pre-show jitters.
Yeah.
And if I get super paranoid and self-conscious, it can make me more closed off and scared and shaky. But if I'm able to kind of wield that energy, it propels me.
Well, you know what I heard? I think Dane Cook said it. He said like something like that pre-show nerves is almost like excitement and or fear. And it's good to have a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Just don't be totally scared. You got to remember that they're here for you. Yep.
Yeah.
You're the headliner.
They're more scared of you than you are of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone is excited. Everyone is like, what the fuck, you know?
It is. It's like what I say, nervousness and excitement feel the same. Like it's the same feeling. So it's like just like
makes you want to shit.
Yeah. that like pit in the tummy, you know. I'm like almost like starting to feel just like talking about it, but it's like
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's what I'm saying. It's like I want to be, I believe in immersion therapy, just like overexpose yourself to the feeling so you're less surprised by it. But it's like that same feeling. It's like it's just knowing that it's okay that you feel that way. It's like it's gonna pass, and if anything, it's like it's good. Some people say it's like feels like it's like the pilot light. It's like how you can cook.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy? We've been talking here for a minute, and you talk about a lot of like mental health issues, like not mental health, but mental awareness. Let's say it that way. Do you meditate at all?
Not traditionally. I'm more just like I think a lot, but I'm not. I like do breathing exercises.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, but not like you saw it.
No, the way you were like, before a show, like that's like you can tell that was like, and I tried meditating and breathing. Like I get it.
Breathing exercise, like controlling your breath and then counting is a good way to kind of distract myself, distract my anxieties, or talking to someone, like get externalizing yourself, or like just playing with your senses. Like I start touching things to like bring myself into the room, out of my head into the room. I
like that one. I never heard of that one.
What?
Touching just things around.
It's just you want to like. I mean, there's other people. The traditional way is like is like, what are 5 things I can touch, 4 things I can smell, 3 you go through the senses, 3 things I can taste, 2 things I like, whatever.
Wow.
And you count down. But the way I've just in the moment do is like I just try to enact every sense I can, where it's like, all right, like right now, like those clusters on that red. The red markers, I count those clusters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just by counting those in my head, I'm already like not thinking about what I was just thinking about.
Yeah.
And then I'm like touching something when I do that, and like I completely like try to be. It's more mindfulness exercises.
Yeah,
is what
no,
it is.
I'm seeing
so it's
that.
less meditation, more mindfulness, and that helps me get out of my head, because my problem with when I've been trying to meditate, it actually causes me to be like so conscious. But I know it's like almost like you got to break through that.
You're supposed to not think, and you're thinking so much. You're trying to not let any thought through your mind, and even saying, "Don't let a fucking thought through your mind." That's the one.
Don't think of pink elephants. And exactly. And that's all you can think about. So I more practice mindfulness, because meditation, I just end up like I can't stop thinking.
One thing I did try in the very beginning of my comedy career, and it helped for a couple sets, but it was very challenging and time consuming to do. But I wasn't going to as many open mics. I was just kind of like raw dogging these shows at Comedy Cabaret. And it was like I would sit down, and I have my set plan, that 4.5 minutes. And I sit down in the audience, right? Like I'm and then I watch the Bhav from when he enters the venue. What do I look like from when I walk in that door? Am I looking nervous? Am I like, or am I like fucking
fully conscious?
Yeah. And then as the moment he steps on stage, it's like sometimes I hate like already coming on stage with a smile, but in reality, that's where I look the best.
I've been trying to be more conscious of that too, and it's just a good note to. It's not even about like tricking. I mean, not about tricking them, more about tricking yourself. Where it's a good tone to start yourself at.
Yeah,
because like objects at rest stay at rest. So it's like if I'm coming up with very stilted energy, it's a lot harder for me to. It's easier for me to start with high energy and work down than the opposite.
Yeah,
than like start at like nothing and like slowly ramp up.
Yo, you know what that is? Yo, this is so funny because since I'm an engineer, I've like done all the math and shit. sine waves, cosine waves, right? They just so I've kind of thought of this thing is called Rowdy Crowd Theory, and it's based
Rowdy
Crowd Theory. You know what I mean?
Rowd?
Crowd, like crowd. Oh wow, Rowdy.
Yeah.
Crowd.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was like, am I having a stroke, or you're like you're gaslighting me, dude? You're not saying anything. Crowdy Rowd, blah, blah. And I'm like, what?
Those are a couple hard words to say.
And you're repeating it. I'm like, did I hit the bong or did you? And the way you're looking at me dead in my eyes, like, what's wrong with this? You're looking at me like, what's this guy's fucking problem, dude? You're like, you sweet summer child. I'm saying this as plain as day.
Rowdy Crowd
There
Theory.
you go. Now I got you.
Sorry, my bad.
Crowdy Rowd.
I'm literally cramping up.
Yeah,
inside.
don't start slipping Hindi on me, all right? What are you talking about?
So this is what it is. You come out and you should start on good energy, right? And then you can start bringing them down into really poor energy, or like you want them to laugh, but the topic can be negative. You can make them sad with laughter. Don't pass the X, because that's when you start getting booed and you won't get booked again. So you got to tiptoe that line at 0, and then you come back, right? You come back, hit them with something positive. You do this n number of times, right? As long as your set is, and by the end, the goal is for them to leave tired, right? People who go to EDM concerts, like I've never really been to one. I don't go to them because they're overwhelming. Where am I going to shit on all these drugs and shit?
Right, but now speaking for all of them.
It's like all they say at the very end, it was like, oh my God, the week one was amazing. I'm so tired. That's it. They're tired. They all had fun. They're exhausted. And they want to go do it again. And that's what you need to do at like the end of like a great hour. It's like they should be like, oh, I laughed so much.
Yeah, like want to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's because I feel like, people, we feel all this energy and we're looking for way to release it. And we're also, I feel like I do so many things so I can justify doing nothing. And I feel like it's very similar to that, where it's like, I want to be busy so that when I finally go home at the end of the day, I feel like I've earned the fucking Netflix or PlayStation or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can, so it's like almost like that, like, getting them exhausted. It's finally like, I've earned the relaxation because I did something. We went through this.
I've earned
this
these
performance.
fangirls.
no, but it's like,
I get you.
But you've earned relaxation.
Yes,
it's like. And I feel like that's the cycle we're in, where it's like excitement, relax, relax. So it's like you do the excitement so then you can enjoy the relaxation, and you enjoy the relaxation so then you can, it's wordplay.
But sometimes after you do a great show, it's kind of hard to relax.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's
especially because you work yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom saw a picture of me. I posted on like Instagram, me and Keith, like 2 times from last week. And she was like, you look wasted. And I was like, oh, like I thought about it. Like I really didn't drink that much.
Yeah.
And I really didn't do any other things. And I was like, oh, that's like laugh drunk. That's like I crushed, and that's what you look like after you did a good job.
You got the rush. You look like a hyena.
And then like everyone else is like kind of like not doing the greatest. So it's like then at the end it's like everyone's like, oh, you rock, and then we like take a picture. So it's like, yeah, that's the face of that.
Yeah. That's funny. It's like, I don't actually get to usually see myself in the post-show glow like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it is like, not to be too cynical, but there definitely is a little bit of an addiction you get to just the performance aspect of it. And, you try to keep it in a positive context and constructive, that like, oh, you're working towards building a skill and just you try to look at just your artistic value, but you definitely start to go through withdrawal when you don't perform as much. So there is a definitely like an adrenaline junkie type of aspect to being a comedian.
Sometimes, so when I first started the Bobcast, in reality, I was filming so much, and
thank God you didn't make me take a shot every time you said the name of this fucking thing.
No, of course. Oh, that's not. Like,
I would have emptied all these bottles by now.
I never thought about playing a game like that.
Yeah, no, please. I hate to give you the idea. So anyway, when you first started,
I was like, just like doing so much recording, and then I had to fucking edit 40 fucking episodes, and then it became a year of actually barely doing stand up. Like I was doing it like maybe once or let's be real, once or twice every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then like now I was like, dude, you're gonna just do one episode at a time, and you're gonna like just do it on a Sunday. Like not cut frame it all too much, and then like you can actually do stand up now.
Yes.
Because this, like the only reason we do this is for that.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, there's no fucking point of doing this.
It's like what do you get to do and what do you have to do?
Yeah.
It's like it's like I almost feel like people who do stand up for money, and there's people who just get money so they can do stand up. You know what I mean? We're just like more just like trying to like obviously I want to make more money in stand up, but it's like it's like I just want to make money so I can do stand up.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's why a lot of comedians are taken advantage of in terms of getting paid and exposure and whatever the hell early on, is because we just care more about the craft.
Yeah, oh yeah.
than
Like
the
I
cash.
can't wait to quit engineering so I can do stand up full time. When I have that 40 hours to do fully all this shit,
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
It'll
Producer Bob
shock
is
you
gonna-
how little you do work when you actually have the time.
Nah, dude. I will feel
Maybe
so
you will.
guilty if I
Okay.
don't. You know what I mean?
That's how I thought I'd be, and I'm just I don't do anything with my free time.
Come on.
I do like promotion and like sending emails and letting my email list know where I'm going.
Yeah,
but
you're actively doing dates right now. You're not like chilling. You're at the open mics. You're working. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I was like, don't,
I
give
try to
yourself
get
some
up,
credit,
but I
brother.
just mean in terms of like I have 8 hours free during the day, and I'm gonna min-max my fucking life out. You know, it's like I don't know. That's something I still need to get better about, because like when you're your own boss, you're the coolest boss ever. You're totally like, hey, take the week off, buddy. You deserve it. So it's like that's what I got to get better about enforcing. The intrinsic motivation. Like when it's not someone else telling you you have to do something. How do you get yourself to do it?
Personally, I have a little bit of schizophrenia, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why producer Bhav can be like, "Hey, Bhav," and he's the worst one of them all. And then there's Party Bhav. There's that's this guy.
Yeah. That's funny. I just picture like one of those like cheesy movies where it's like you can tell it's like the same actor on a different side of the frame, like Parent Trap, but it's just you talking to
Yeah,
yourself.
the intro to the Bobcast is just a 3-minute skit of all my different personalities.
Is that true? You have a skit intro to your podcast?
Not like for every episode, but like the actual, like if you go to my YouTube page, like for the Bobcast.
Oh, like the channel trailer type thing?
Yeah. But at the top of each episode is just like a
Oh my
little
God.
30-second ha-ha, and then boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just suck your own dick. It's the same effect.
Well, I just wanted to give the crowd the idea of who I am.
Yeah. all the parts of you. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, dude. When you're a people pleaser as much as us,
Yeah.
there's a dark side too. There's a heavy dark side too, right? In reality, but we don't have to get into that. But yeah, I had to express that in that video, and he's like a scary clown.
Yeah, because we're like worrying about so much about how can we take care of other people. We don't really always meet our own needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it manifests into this guy named Mimi, who's it's long for mental illness.
Oh, Mimi. My. My.
Yo, let me ask you this, dude, because we're gonna have to bounce soon.
What are we at right now?
We're like 8:08, so we run this until like 8:15ish.
Okay, great.
Yeah, then I
Sick.
take a shit, and then
I'll be here.
yeah.
All right. I'll be listening.
Yesterday, Yannick and I were talking about it came up authentically. Like, what is your if you could have your best favorite day, or like if you could just wake up and like this day was like totally the shit. Like, what is that day for Connor King?
Are we talking like a productive day?
No, this can be a day of leisure.
Is this
and
an
having
off
fun.
day?
Yeah.
Because I don't like smoking weed during the day if I'm trying to get shit done, because
Okay, yeah.
I won't do anything.
Sure.
So like if we're actually talking like, oh my God, what would be like an ideal, like at the end I just feel like
I want
content.
you to be happy. Yes. And
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, because the relaxing days, I feel great during the day, and at night I feel guilty that I like relax so much.
Yeah.
So if I actually want to like have a day where I feel like at the end of it I'm like,
Yeah, you can take a jet anywhere or anything like this. Like, this is the day.
Okay, you're talking to someone who's never left the country, so let's not go to jets.
Okay. I barely left Pennsylvania, brother.
Yeah, okay. Cool. That explains. No, I'm just kidding. No, a day that would actually make me feel great is, so it's like, waking up, get a nice coffee, get a little workout in, get that out of the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when I work out, it's more for mental than just pure physical.
Yeah, I see those guns. I see that. Respect.
And it's just my veins, really. So I just got big, bulgy veins. But so like, just do a little workout to clear my mental cobwebs, and then just do a little bit of writing, maybe a little bit of editing, and write something new, and then go do a set and work out that new thing and have at least a new line or a new idea work.
Yeah.
And then get that rush and then have that post-show glow and maybe, you know, smoke a little joint and just go home, play some Nintendo and, you know, and also during that day having going outside in some way and having a deep conversation with a friend of mine. I know deep is like kind of a cringy term, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
real one.
An emotionally vulnerable conversation with someone.
Kind of like what we had here. Nothing like surface level, like, oh, what do you do for work or how's your wife?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
where it's like, it's not inherently trauma dumping, but that's a possibility.
It can be.
It can be. Because when you're just being so vulnerable, you can't, and you're just like being very you know, like we were saying, like, you know, just feeling free.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, and that is being present. Because I think, you know, so much, especially when you become like, you know, afraid to share yourself. And that's something I've had to get better about, sharing myself with people. Because, you know, as a kid, I was so shy and self-conscious that, like, I would like, oh, I don't know if I want to, like, you know, share how I'm feeling with someone. And then I feel like guilty and ashamed. So it's like the more I think you hold in, the heavier you feel.
Yes.
And life is heavy enough, man.
It is, baby.
So the lighter I can feel, the better. And to me, being open, being present, being communicative and conscious and just being, that's a way for me to feel lighter. And the more I hold things in and hold back, like you're saying, being a people pleaser to your own detriment and not actually expressing yourself, you know, that all sticks with you. The body keeps that score. So the more I can feel just open with talking to someone deeply, like, oh, this could go anywhere, and hey, maybe I might say some shit that like will make me really emotional and we'll work through it. But having one of those conversations during the day helps me decompress in a way, especially if I'm being productive during the day and I'm like ramping up energy, then decompress, then get the set in, work on the new joke, feel that rush, feel that sense of accomplishment, chasing that carrot. And then excuse me, did you drink some water fast or something?
Yeah, I did.
Got some gas trapped in you, man. But and then getting that set in, getting that rush, smoking a little bit of weed, get some nice food, and see a pretty lady, and that's a perfect day.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Is, you know, like, and that's the same thing between you and Yannick. It was a great set at the end of the day. Yes. Whatever respectively you guys wanted to do, you did, and then
at the end of the day,
set.
Every comedian wants that same thing. A great set and work, and you actually remember to do the new thing, and it works.
Yes. That's beautiful.
No better feeling.
I mean, I'd basically have a day like that too. Yo, bro, let me ask you this, and let's get out of here. How did you get the name Zebra Cakes for the podcast?
Oh my God, you buy them?
I did.
Oh, did they have them at the 7-Eleven here? Oh, did you have them at 7-Elevens?
Yeah.
Okay, because
I want us to split this and see if it's great as it was when we were young.
I mean, I have not had that in a while. That's crazy.
That's what I mean,
That's hilarious.
Tell me how you named Zebra Cake.
How we named the podcast?
Yeah, how you named the podcast Zebra Cakes.
Is it the Little Debbie version?
This is just the...
It's a Little Debbie? Little Debbie? Yeah.
Cheers on this real quick.
Cheers. Some cakes. Well, Tata will love this. I gotta send this to her. She's my co-host on the podcast. Zebra Cakes, we thought it was perfect because we were already trying to think of like something like alluding to like white and black.
Okay.
You know, because believe it or not, Tata
is a black woman. And she's very funny, Tata Sharif.
Hilarious. I always try to have her open for me whenever I can because I like it when it's a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
High tide raises all ships. I never understood the whole, save some laughs. I don't want to be too funny. So we were already thinking of something white and black, you know. Zebra Cakes seems so perfect because not just the color thing, but also Zebra Cakes is like a hood snack. It's a corner store snack or bodega, whatever the fuck you want to call it, poppy store. So it's like, it both alludes to like our upbringings.
Yeah.
You know, being in those type of neighborhoods. It's a snack that was like around as a kid. So it's like, it felt both socially relevant and racially relevant.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like we were like, perfect. That was it. It's just it's one of those. if you know, you know, type of things. You know what I mean? If you get zebra cakes and the connotation of it, you know.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I had zebra cakes growing up too. My mom would get them in like the 5-pack or whatever, like each saucer.
Oh, really? You actually get zebra cakes?
Yes, sir.
That's so funny.
So that's why I was really intrigued, and I was like, I got to get some zebra cakes because
that's so funny.
I'm working on the summer body by Bhav, and I'm not eating sweets right now. But I was like, you know what? For Mr. King, we can do a zebra cake.
I thought of another level. It's very much like me. Little sweet, little trashy. You know, a little bounce.
Little precious, little dangerous, baby.
Oh yeah. Good going in, bad aftertaste.
Yeah. All right, brother. Tell them where to find you, and I'll put all your dates under you.
Okay, so I don't have to tell you all my dates.
No.
My username is the same on all platforms at Connor King Me. Connor spelled with O-R, not an E-R, because E-R is racist. Everyone knows that. So Connor King Me on everything, even Venmo. Because if you've been looking at my ankles, you owe me at least a couple bucks. But yeah, find me there, all platforms. I got a good amount of show dates coming up the next month or two. So see me on the road.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for coming through,
Thank
brother.
you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Follow this guy. You already do if you see this. But
Deuces.
Bhav freaks.
Yeah.
But
freaks.
freaks. But freaks. But freaks.
Hell yeah.
Good shit.